everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'll share a little bit of my experience of working here in New Zealand. Now before we get started on that, I noticed that we've had some new subscribers this week, so welcome to my channel. A little bit about myself. My name is Beulah Thomas and I moved to New Zealand in Feb 2010. I started this YouTube channel just about a year ago just because my husband thought I should. He just felt that some of the things that I practice and do on a regular basis could be documented and shared on YouTube, and that is why I have a YouTube channel. So every week I post a video on Wednesday and I cover topics on motherhood, home and life inspiration and motivation, and I also share videos on New Zealand. So if you haven't checked those out, make sure you go check them out. If you landed on this video because you just did a YouTube search, welcome. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my other videos. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on. So back to the topic of today's video. So my husband and I moved to New Zealand roughly between the two of us about 13 or 14 years ago. Our kids were born here, so New Zealand is our home. Of course, when we arrived here years and years ago, it was a completely different experience. Both my husband and I work in the public sector. My husband has spent most of the time that he's worked here in New Zealand in the public sector. I spent about 10 years working in nonprofit, and then once I hit my 10th year, I felt that it was time for a change, and then I moved to the public sector as well. I thought I would compile our experience of working here in New Zealand because I know a lot of people are moving here or have just arrived here in New Zealand and are settling down. I must say that what I'm sharing in this video is my personal experience of working here in New Zealand, so it'll be different to other people's experience, or it might be different to someone else who has lived here in New Zealand for the same amount of time. Prior to moving to New Zealand, I lived and worked in the United States. I also studied there. The culture there, especially the work culture, is completely different. I think more than adjusting to the Kiwi culture, I actually spent a lot of time trying to adjust to the work culture here in New Zealand. Just to help out with the flow of this video, I've just divided this video into 5 different sections. All right, let's get started. The first thing is Kiwi slangs. This is definitely something new migrants have to get used to. The more you listen to it, the more you'll start using it and the more easier it gets. A couple of the ones that most migrants immediately pick up and start using it, not with just Kiwis but also fellow migrants, is ta, which means thank you, and the other one is sweet ass. So the ass is AS, not the other one, and that means cool or awesome. Another one is crikey, which means wow. Do a search on Kiwi slangs if you want to get prepared or want to start learning how to use them in your everyday life. Number 2, annual leave and sick leave. You get up to 4 weeks of paid annual leave, and then your sick leave will kick in about 6 months into your employment. I understand that some employers, depending on the type of job you're in, it could start 3 months on, 4 months on, but standard is 6 months into your employment, you will get about 10 days of sick leave. But if you get sick prior to that sick leave kicking in, you don't have to be nervous, just let your employer know. You'll find them being really considerate, and I'm not just saying because it's after COVID times or whatever. Even before COVID, I do know of employers who have been really considerate and kind when people have fallen sick straight after starting their new job. We also have around 12 public holidays here in New Zealand. I think I've got that number right. I also know that there are workplaces that encourage people who have a massive amount of annual leave, or if they notice that they're not taking time off, the manager will definitely check in with them to make sure that they're doing well and encourage them to take some time off. Then it comes closer to Christmas time, your workplace will encourage you to take some extra time off besides the 2 weeks Christmas shutdown that happens here in New Zealand. So right from probably the 3rd week or close to Christmas time all the way to the 1st week of January, sometimes even the 2nd week almost, depending on your workplace. There is a Christmas shutdown here that happens. everything comes to a standstill. The CBD, where all of the offices are, is dead quiet because everybody is on a holiday. One thing that I've noticed at my current workplace, which I really appreciate as a parent, is that as we get closer to the school term holidays, my manager or even my workmates will ask me or even encourage me sometimes to take a day off to spend time with my kids while they're at home from school. So I really appreciate the thoughtfulness of my current workplace, that they consider, the parents around school holiday times, and even when the way that they set up work meetings and all of that, it all depends on the parents' availability because they know that children are staying home for 2 weeks during school term holidays. Along with that, we've got maternity leave. You automatically are entitled to that when you find out that you're pregnant. It's quite normal for working moms to take about 12 months of maternity leave before they get back to work. And I think that's really amazing that we have that here in New Zealand. Number 3, health insurance. You don't need to get health insurance here in New Zealand, and it always doesn't come with every single job that you get. Most can access the public health services for free, and one of the things that you would do as soon as you settle down here in New Zealand is find a GP. I've shared a lot about this in my Migrate to New Zealand videos, and I'll pop those links down in the description box, so make sure you go check them out. But it's really easy to find a GP in your area. Cost to visit a GP varies, and each appointment lasts for about 15 minutes, but if you feel that you need longer time, you can let the receptionist know when you call in to set up an appointment. There are people here in New Zealand who do apply for health insurance, and guess what? That is really great, especially when there are delays in the public health system. Number 4 is the social culture of the New Zealand workplace. Now, it's really common for people to pause around 9:30 to 10 a.m. for a coffee break. This is when people step away from their desk. Sometimes they can do it by themselves, or like in my workplace, someone might just stand up and say, hey, who wants coffee? Who would like a cheese cone? And they'll just wander out and get it for their workmates. So it can be done by yourself, or with a workmate, or with your team. It's quite common. The cafe in the building where I work is really packed between 10 a.m. to 10:30, so I've got workmates who will just wander out at 9:45 a.m. just to beat that morning coffee rush. So just like the morning teas, it's quite common for people to also block out their time for lunch. I really like that people respect each other's lunch time, and we try not to book work meetings around then. If you move from a very fast-paced and competitive work environment, you might find that a little bit strange at the start, but I'm pretty sure 6 months in, you're gonna start doing that too. Shared morning teas at work is really common, so when a person is joining your workplace or when they're leaving, sometimes around the festive period, sometimes for no reason at all. Morning teas can be organized at work. Some work teams might schedule it monthly. I know some do fortnightly. It's just a great opportunity to pause for 30 minutes, gather in the kitchen at your workplace, and everybody will bring something to share. You can make it at home, or you can buy it at the local supermarket or bakery on the way to work, and it's just great to pause and socialize over coffee and food. It's also common on a Thursday after work, let's say around 4 or 4:30 p.m., for an entire work team to go out for drinks. Another great social aspect in a New Zealand workplace. This can happen weekly or even fortnightly, but it's quite common. So if you come from a work environment that doesn't do it, or if you come from a country that doesn't permit alcohol, for example, you don't have to opt out. You can still go along. They'll have soda or fizzy or juice. No one's going to judge you. Just don't exclude yourself from it just because you don't drink a particular drink. It doesn't happen on a Friday because most Fridays people tend to work from home, and also Friday after work is family time. So Thursday is technically sort of like the end of the work week things, and so as a work team, people tend to do social stuff on a Thursday evening after work quite frequently. Number 5, work expectations. A full-time working week is around 37.5 to about 40 hours a week. Now you've got fixed-term employees, permanent employees, and also you've got contractors. If you want to work for less number of hours and not do a full-time week, and if that's what you're thinking when you're looking for jobs, make sure you let them know before you sign your contract. But let's say that you started your work and a few months in, you just really feel that it'll be nice to just cut down the amount of time that you work. Don't hold back. Just go speak to your manager if you're wanting to make a lifestyle change or spend more time with your children. They are very considerate and always open to make changes that will suit you. Government employees by law cannot work for more than 12 hours in a 24-hour period, but of course if there's a national emergency like an earthquake, which is quite common here in New Zealand, things might change. Let's say it's been a really busy week this week at work and you've gone over your usual work hours. It's very normal and expected that you will take that time off the following week, so you might start late or finish early. Then you're in work mode, give it your best. If you come from a very busy, fast-paced, competitive work environment, you will learn to relax a little bit. And I must say that you might find it quite weird because people might not look like they're motivated, they're getting the work done, but it's a bit of a slow-paced work environment, I feel, in comparison to so many other countries. I've been living here for almost 13 years now and I'm still learning that. I also love that the team managers or the team leads are always looking out for people on their team, making sure that they're not overworked or don't have too much on their plate. If people don't have a lot of work, they make sure they give them more tasks so that they can fill up their time. But it's really great that they make sure that you are not overworked and you're not tired. And I love that their expectations are very humane and they treat us like human beings and not machine. I know some have found it refreshing, some say it's relaxing, and some find it very slow paced. But I do know that once you settle in a New Zealand work environment, you will find your rhythm. If you have any comments or questions on working here in New Zealand, feel free to pop that down in the comment section below. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a like. And if you haven't done it yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on. I've also tagged a bunch of videos that you might find useful if you're in the process of moving to New Zealand, so don't forget to check them out. See you all next week. Bye!